Good people, I hope you are well and winning. My name is Godfrey and I want to welcome you to another episode of Love on a Podcast. And I'm joined by my
esteemed guest.
esteemed,
Lies. But esteemed.
beloved,
Esteemed.
respected and honored guest today.
Definitely.
Listen, I'm going to get people to introduce themselves.
No.
I'm joking. Shame, no pressure.
No,
Okay.
just me. Everybody
Okay.
else, you're more than welcome to introduce. Like, they can do it, but I'm not.
No, shame. Okay, I usually just introduce, and then if I get it wrong, they correct me. All right. So to my left, in my immediate left, here is Kele. Kele's she's a food connoisseur.
Hi, Bo.
Oh, damn.
I'm not just
Right as a mother.
She's a food connoisseur. She's a chef student, confectionery artist. Very nice things. All right. Pat is a finance student, health enthusiast, and drip dragon. Right? And that's Pat. And then Nomsa is.
I'm just Nomsa. Guys, wait, I'm not ready to declare to the world what my title is. I'm just Nomsa.
Okay.
Love to meet you, all of you.
Now I'm
Hey.
glad.
Even if it's just one.
Oh no, that's fine. Okay, so Nomsa is Nomsa. All right.
Just Nomsa, please.
Today, we want to talk about hashtags, and their impact on relationships. So, as you may know by now, hopefully, after 11 episodes, you know that we talk about love, anything and everything to do with love on this podcast. So, love is a part of relationships. Relationships should be enamored, endowed with, coated in love, hopefully. And so, if we talk about relationships, we want to know, we want to discuss, we want to learn from hashtags and how they impact relationships. So, my guests, I did prepare them somewhat, but I did want to...
Somewhat. He's honest. That's good.
No, somewhat. I mean, I also wanted the conversation to flow, right? So if you over prepare people, I feel like it'll be scripted, and so I want the conversation to flow. So right, so we're talking about.
It's gotta be raw. It's gotta be real.
Right?
Yeah.
So the conversation has got to flow, and we're talking about the impact of hashtags on relationships. And some of the hashtags that I can think of from the top of my head before I give it to the floor. Let me go with it. Hashtags such as men are trash, hashtag. Black Lives Matter, hashtag.
Every one of them.
Hey.
Sorry, are we counting the Me Too one? Are we going to put
No, definitely. Me Too is there.
Because it's a conflicting one, but
Yeah.
it's necessary.
Yeah. So Me Too is another hashtag that is also very pressing. Gender-based violence related hashtags,
yeah.
right? GBV related hashtags. Why this was important for me to talk about, at least also to present to you as the listener or the viewer, is that relationships are very...
Sorry, Pat.
There's a lot of work that is involved with the relationships and a lot of factors, and so
exchange.
yeah, and we interact in environments that are prone to socialization and stuff, and so through social media, hashtags have been a big deal.
Yes.
And so men, I'll speak for myself as a man, but also I think men, people around me, have responded and reacted to these hashtags. And I can see that they've clearly affected people as they participate in relationships. So with all that said, I do want to get first impressions from y'all. On
I'll start.
Yeah,
I'm always the I'll start person.
I'm here for it.
To all the other people who are I'll start people, let's keep doing this. Let's keep going. So I have this problem. Again, not really. I'm not against it, but it's because you hear the conflicting sort of arguments for hashtag use. Is it really good enough? What does it really do when we say Black Lives Matter? When we post that square and we join the movement, does that really save us, or is it just sort of minuscule? But every now and then you know that you have to make noise when something's not right. You understand?
But no,
You have to still cause that rubble, that thing, that change, that little awareness that can grow. You know what I mean? Because that's where we're at right now. If we want a peaceful world, guys, it has to be that we as citizens are also pushing our people who are in governments or who are in our governance to kind of like, understand where we're coming from.
We want to learn. We want to talk about, unpack, discover new, meaningful, significant facets behind hashtags and how they impact relationships, right? And I found this conversation to be necessary, guys, because especially I think about 3-4 years ago, when men are trash became a thing, right? And that's a big
Bomb.
hashtag. It's a bomb. It's in your face, right? I caught feelings. I was offended. I felt some type of way, if you missed that reference. I really just was like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I was confronted to search within, to look deeper into what is being said. So I want then, hopefully we can get into more hashtags such as Black Lives Matter, such as Me Too, such as all gender-based violence related hashtags and how they impact relationships. So I hope that we have a good spread of representation here, just so we can get some input, get some discussion going, and really unpack this, how hashtags affect and impact relationships. Before I also give it to the floor, I just want to highlight, on this platform, ladies and gentlemen, we take L's, all right? And when I say we take L's, I'm talking about the lessons and the losses that we got to take, right? Hopefully then we can find opportunities to love through the insight that we learn from these hashtags, from these discussions, from these conversations. And we can then experience victory over anything and everything that stops us from flourishing in relationships. But we know that we need to exercise certain things. So that's the love in the podcast. Love on a podcast. The L is for lessons or losses. The O is for opportunities. V is for victory. E is for exercise. So I don't know how we're going to get through that in this conversation, but I hope that we will. So starting off, what is a hashtag? What does it mean? What is the big deal? Why do we need to pay attention to hashtags and how they're affecting relationships?
I'm just like, because it's on Twitter. Wake up in the morning, there it is, staring at you.
Yeah.
Or in the news. It finds you.
Okay.
Damn.
It finds you. I think it does. I mean, considering the time we spend on the internet, on the World Wide Web, on social media, hashtags are everywhere. Absolutely. Yeah.
It finds you if it's meant for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the shoe fits.
Because I mean, like,
if the shoe fits.
hashtag men are trash. Sorry, it definitely didn't find me. Like, I was just like, okay,
If it hits home, it hits home.
you know what I'm saying? But then, okay, but at the end of the day, yo, these are like still my type of species. So like, why, is
It
the other
involved
count? Yeah, or like, why? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, that means I actually need to look into. I can't just be like, it doesn't involve me, you know, and just
Yeah,
post it.
you can't ignore a
That's
hashtag.
being-
It finds you.
It finds
That's
you.
being ignorant. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It actually does find you. I think. I mean, when Men Are Trash became a thing, I remember. Yeah, it definitely found me. I was on my phone. I've told the story, you know, to some of you guys who watched these or listened to these episodes. Yeah, I was on my phone around gents, and I was on Twitter, the Bird app, and I started seeing this whole thing buzzing. Everyone was, you know, hashtagging this thing, talking about men and men being trash. I'm like, how? I got feelings, guys. No, I was like, what do you mean we're trash? Like, what's going on? And so yeah, it provoked me. It definitely like knocked on my door as a man. Right. So there's always the flip side. I think I want to get into that as well. The person who's saying this and the person who is supposed to be responding. So I found that women predominantly were saying this and men were expected to respond. How do you expect men to respond to such a hashtag?
I'm still collecting selecting the
Okay,
whole
alright.
Yeah.
How are we supposed? In fact, because here's okay. Let me
Yes.
just juice the question a little bit.
Juice it.
So women said something, predominantly or largely women said something, and expecting a particular response. How do you think men should have reacted to it?
How should a man reacted to it?
Yeah.
We could react in a lot of ways, but like for me, what do you react to? Like react to what? What are you asking me exactly?
So like okay, so if
Because
I call you stupid, right?
Okay.
I probably place an expectation on how you're going to respond to what I say.
If you call me stupid, I'm gonna first feel offended. So if women call men trash, our first response is gonna feel offended. So meaning already we're not responding the way you expected us to respond.
But here's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Some women wanted to provoke men.
That's what I'm saying. So now like, what's the whole point of this?
Exactly. So I think that's what
trash?
we're trying to talk about then. That how does the whole hashtag affect relationships?
Yeah. And another thing is that now, not all women were saying hashtag men are trash because they actually felt that way. Some were just saying it to, I don't know, either
solidarity,
spite or
support.
use it in a more manipulative way because generally women are manipulative. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny how a lot of them
Not all of
respond.
us, but
It's funny how a lot of them respond.
Yeah. I mean,
yes. But
because
it's not everyone. You see,
The
that's,
chain reaction.
that's the thing though, the chain reaction of hashtag men are trash.
yeah. So chain reactions. I mean, you find even with like feminism, that's also a hashtag. Hashtag feminist. Hashtag girls run the world. Right.
I'm not against that, yay.
No, but your thing
have
is.
qualms about it.
So now here's the thing. Hashtags to some depending on the hashtag, of course, they paint a big picture. Sometimes an accurate picture, sometimes an inaccurate picture, sometimes a true picture, an honest picture, or it's just one perspective of a picture or one part of a bigger picture.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if we talk about Black Lives Matter, and I want to again double click on the impact on relationships, I see that Black Lives Matter affected so many relationships that have racial dynamics to them.
Yes.
So now you find white people, for example, or Caucasians. I don't know how we can say these things politically correctly, but
Caucasian is basically safe.
oh, is it? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So you find Caucasians saying, "Hey, I'm not racist. Black Lives Matter because I've got a best friend who's black." But it's like, has that really affected or impacted your relationship, changing the dynamics meaningfully and significantly if the only thing you're holding on to is your association with the person? Like things like that, right?
It's very dangerous, actually. 'Cause
Dangerous. Please
like,
double click on that. What do you mean by dangerous? Dangerous in what way?
it's dangerous for a relationship in general.
Yeah.
Like that entire hashtag can either make or break the relationship.
Yes.
In most cases,
It's
it's
a
broken the
conversation
relationships.
that's ready. Just
Because
It's brewing.
now,
It's waiting to.
because now the how the conversation is gonna go between the two can I say what's like
Yeah, two
interracial couples?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
interracial couples. That's another one.
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's gonna be the question's gonna be like the whole conversation, sorry. It's gonna have to be like very, very sensitive. Like you're gonna have to think especially for me, I think the Caucasian would have to come off very, very, very fragile across to the black person or their black partner.
Yeah.
Because now the slightest thing that's said and it seems
Sideways.
then it's kind of like yo,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Sensitivity, right? I think that's
You know what
another
I'm
way
saying?
to talk about it.
I feel like it's
So now it's more difficult now to solve that as well.
Yes.
Because now if already it's so sensitive to talk about, how do we solve something that we can't actually talk about?
see now
That's a
this
chat.
is- now you're
You know what
really
I'm
going
saying?
That's a
with
chat.
me. You're
Yeah.
going with me because now I think as a person, let's be real with ourselves. How do you want people to tell you things in life? If something bad happens, start thinking about how things need to be communicated to you, so you
Yeah.
can at least set the precedent. Like, it's your social responsibility.
Yeah.
If there are those people that do not like loud people around you and you've expressed yourself and they keep going, it happened, right? Sorry, don't beat them up or anything, but that's what happens. So it's the same thing with people who are like very hurt still about the past that a lot of black people have lived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can never tell them, no, there's no way to grieve, there's no way to cry, there's no way to process things unless you are ready to do it.
So
Nothing outside that is not going to happen.
is
So
there?
you have to know your person, know yourself.
I also have a question, right?
Yes.
Regarding this interracial couple thing, based on this, is it men are trusting you, right?
Yes. Even
Now
Black Lives
that-
Matter can fit in there.
Oh, Black Lives Matter, right? Isn't it more like, okay, when an interracial couple, right? I'm black, you white. For you to be attracted to me, obviously you know that how my racial standards are like, right? Isn't it more like all those things should be set aside? Like, okay, no, I want to be with you because I love you. And when I love you like that, you automatically know that I'm not going to be racist towards you. The people that I'm coming to surround your private space now, they are not also supposed to be racist around you. Or whatever what means. Like, you know, like...
Expectation
So
seldom
so
the reality.
You got
That's
this.
the problem.
And now it's more like when you see a Black Lives Matter hashtag next to your white husband, you are not supposed to be feeling anxious because you know that this person loves me. So it's more supposed to. Do you get what I'm saying though?
But I think we're not even congratulating those who try. Yes, the try is little.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
shouldn't,
still
you shouldn't have to try because
Yeah,
it
that's
shouldn't
what
be a
I'm
thing
saying.
that
It
should
shouldn't
be
be
even
a
existing.
thing.
But the reality
You know what I'm
So-
saying?
so-
But the reality, yes, the
Different.
goddamn motherfucking reality.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think that's what highlights, that's what should probe us to see beyond the hashtag, right? Because, again, you see this, there's your first impression. My hope is that each person will always be inspired to look beyond and see beyond, connecting with the heart behind the intention behind it and the purposing behind it, right? When a hashtag is presented, like as I said, if I want to speak as a man who is part of the men collective, I need to be looking further into this whole hashtag men are trash, or being a black person, or identifying as a black person. I need to be looking more into this whole hashtag Black Lives Matter. Or if I look at gender-based violence, right? If I am part of a gender, I should be looking. So it kind of places an onus on the person being spoken to when the hashtag is presented. Wait, why is this being said? And I think we can look into that because that will affect the way that I relate to other people. And I just quickly as I then round this part, when we talk about, because the topic is the impact of hashtags on relationships, right? So we got to be defining things. What is a hashtag? What is the purpose of a hashtag? What is a relationship? What is the purposing of a relationship? And as we said with relationships, we're talking about friendship, we're talking about family relations, professional relations, platonic relations, romantic relations. All these things
So
affect.
to answer your first question,
Yeah.
you're saying we should define these things. Like, what is a hashtag?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you can't to like offend anybody or anything, but sometimes I can't help not think that a hashtag is just a constant. And I say that because you're saying we should be able to look beyond the hashtag.
Yeah.
But now not everybody can look beyond, not everybody has the same vision. So now, because of that already, hashtags, then its actual meaning only caters for people who can see beyond the message. And for those who can't,
So it's like a conversation on
for those who-
interpretation.
Exactly. So now, an interpretation is life in general. Life is interpretation of how you move toward with things. So moving on, those who can't interpret that far, then I don't know. I can't say they'd be left behind, but they're staying there.
Yeah.
And those who can, I guess, moving forward.
Yeah. So
But now, there's still people staying back. So now, the message is not actually coming across to everybody. So that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's just a constant because it's like those are staying, those are moving, kind of canceling each other out.
shouldn't we then place more importance on conversations like this for the sake of educating people, raising awareness?
But that's work.
Yes, we need to work.
You see,
We can't avoid the work.
No. That's work. In this economy, those who can work do not have time to do this additional work.
Yeah.
And it's not like most of the time they have the resources, they have, you know what I mean, they have the connections, they know who to get to speak. They could run a campaign like that to, you know, till kingdom come. They can excel in it. But do they have the time to do this?
So the time is, I think.
You understand? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the work needs
Do
to
they
be done.
care?
Yes. Cool.
Do they care? If it's not being done, that means they don't care.
Yes.
Guys, you don't go out of your way to do something that you don't care about. Like, you do things that you care about. You do things that you know.
Yeah, but because okay, so I think this is why it's important.
So if people are in position to do something, actually do something about it, I'm not doing anything about it. That means they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
you'll find even hashtags like activity on social media. I'm quite convinced that a lot of the times it doesn't even reach the people that it needs to reach.
Yeah.
Like if we find the activism that takes place through a particular hashtag, if it's actually supposed to reach the change makers in the nation, in the government, or in the households, if it's supposed to reach men, sometimes you wonder if it's actually reaching men.
guys,
But it will find
I think I just realized something.
Yeah.
Guys, if you saying it like that and you saying it like that, then okay, maybe I just think so business wise all the time. But then I understand a hashtag being a product then.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
To me, it's a product.
to an
It is
extent.
a product
yeah.
because now you can use it. You're basically
Yes.
selling something,
Yes.
and you can market it for certain people.
Yes.
You know, you can
Yes. It's a
like
marketing strategy.
you can
Yeah,
give it.
it's a
You
vehicle.
can give it a demographic,
Yeah.
Yes.
a geographical state.
Yes.
Like you can give it
By
anything.
definition, it is that now.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just had
It's a commodity. You know what I mean? It's a commodity we use.
It is a freaking commodity, guys. It's an internet commodity.
I
If
see.
that's such
A
the
digital commodity.
Yes, it's a commodity if you really.
Wow.
So then
If it spikes.
with
I bet a
commodities,
lot of people wouldn't think about it like that.
I mean with
But you're
commodities.
right about that.
No.
I think it is.
With commodities, right? They appeal to certain people and they don't appeal to
Yes.
certain people.
Exactly.
They have a
Yes.
price, and it's either you can
And
afford it or you.
definitely, and a hashtag, like the fact that I'm saying it's a product, every product has a life cycle,
Yeah.
such as a hashtag. You know.
Yeah. Hectic. So
And
like,
you've seen
let's
those
hold
that
that.
kind of got crushed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So the more exclusive the hashtag, then the longer it lives. Like
This
you know.
man just threw a spanner in the works,
Wow.
bro. Like.
I feel like you've reached level 100. Coins.
Yeah. So I think I should just kind of reiterate and zoom in on why I wanted to start this conversation, why I wanted us to engage on it, and hopefully take something from it, right? Hashtags, if we look at their impact on relationships, at least what I see is how they serve a purpose. And this purpose can be very expansive, right? Or the purpose can take on different faces, right? When we see a hashtag being informative, educational, inspiring, challenging, being provocative, and sometimes it's purely being entertaining,
Yes.
right? We also mentioned that hashtags have a commodity aspect to them, right? So they can be sold, they can be marketed, they can be bought, they can be bought. You can buy into a hashtag, right? Now, if we zoom in on the inspirational or educational aspect, I want to then bring in the way that it can really impact relationships, specifically romantic relationships, right? The Lovingtons. I'm a Lovingtons. I'm a lover. Jolani. Right? I really think we see a lot more of hashtags being the impact of hashtags being more apparent in those kind of relationships. So I had done a bit of research. Praise be to God. I wasn't totally winging this episode, right? So when we see, if it's purpose, we see hashtags having an activism sort of approach to them, as well as a social justice aspect to them, right? So I do want to present the definition so we get kicking with this part of the conversation. when we think of social justice, right? Justice in terms of the distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges within a society, within a family, within a company, within a friendship, within in a community, whatever it is, right? So the distribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges, right? Or redistribution. So if women are appealing to men, they probably feel like there's been unfair treatment, and so they want a redistribution of opportunities, wealth, privileges,
Yes.
right? So keep that in mind. Activism, which is the word,
Contributing activism.
right? So activism. Hey,
So
listen. So activism is the policy or action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. I'll say it again. Activism is the policy or action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. So, right? It's vigorous, very zealous, very engaged, right? So, with that said, I mentioned that we perhaps can really apply this to romantic relationships. How can men, for example, apply policies or actions as they relate to their partners using in a form of vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change? What does it look like, right, for men to advocate for women? What does it look like men to bring about social change around women, for women, for example? For example.
Why? Okay. It's I answer with a question because
Yeah.
it always feels like this is what keeps happening, but like, can we maybe change that?
Yeah.
Why is it that whenever that part now comes, sometimes within, especially I'm gonna always talk from the black perspective because
Yeah.
communication is a problem.
Yeah.
Let's not lie to ourselves, it really is a problem.
Yeah.
And getting it clear without causing that rumble, really, that tarnishment of things, and we're ending things before getting there, before the big blow up. I feel like people just, or couples, I understand you when I talk to you. I understand that this is how I'm talking to you. This is my style of talking. This is how I do things. This is how I get angry. Before just pasting it to think that it's just something that should be mentioned, Jay. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna show you guys men are trying. No.
Yeah.
Like, you know your partner, you know your person. Get their honest take on it, and don't bash them for their opinion, because that's where we need to start, the honest part. Because we know, guys, we hear the thing of sometimes the why do men lie angle of it. You know what I mean? They don't want to hurt your feelings, that, you know, you can be motivated by different things. But at the same time, let's maybe know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So that it can land.
Your question was, I agree with what she's saying. Your question was, how should men advocate for women?
How can they?
How
I mean,
can they?
if we're
Yes.
looking at bringing about political or social change in the homes, in a relationship, how can men do that?
Well, in the relationship, I think, in the relationship regarding the hashtag what? Men are trash.
Well, no, it's any hashtag. If we look at a hashtag, and what I'm saying, yeah, people, yeah. So okay, a hashtag is effectively supposed to educate, raise awareness, bring about some sort of change, inspire people. It has a social justice aspect, it has an activism aspect, right? So if we're looking at men in the light of, or in response to a hashtag, how can they behave better or act better or respond better to those hashtags?
Basically, what is it supposed to teach me that I change? What is it?
What is it supposed to teach men?
Yes. So that they can come and go, okay, we're with you on this, or not with you on
I
this.
feel like the hashtag, right, should show that men should take more accountability if they don't want to participate, you know? If you know you're wrong, label yourself. They're like, okay, you know what, I admit, I'm guilty, you know? Because so and so and so and so, I also do this and do that and whatever, you get me? And I see that it's wrong because I wasn't aware that I thought that I was the only one just impacting this one person. But there's millions of other people out there that are actually doing this to millions of other people.
That's the awareness part.
So
that's
it's more
how
like,
great
you know,
it
now you
is
get
in
to
terms
feel,
of pointing out what it is.
you get me? Now you get to feel how other women feel about it, because now you know it's in a collective of people. Everybody expresses themselves instead of just you were unaware of how your girlfriend or your wife was responding.
Was feeling about this.
Just take accountability and try to change your ways.
I think
Communication.
how men's response to it, or how they should perceive it and reciprocate it, is nothing but a short-term solution. As opposed to how can we all act better.
Wait, no man.
Okay.
So
Okay.
That's a
that's
more
fair.
permanent solution.
It's true. It's true.
We gotta move together,
We all
guys.
have
But
to
now,
do
if
the
we
work.
separating certain walls, then how, like?
I think the importance, or at least what I'm drawing, the significance that I'm drawing from what you're saying, is how it has to be a united effort, because now, just as much as men.
But then now the movement is we are trash. It's not we are trash. It's men are trash.
You see,
This specific. We're being specific. We're putting
It's
out.
very selfish. It's very
so
selfish.
I was going to get to that. I mean, as much as we can say there is the villain and there's the victim, I think also people need to apply themselves beyond that to say, fine, even if I am the victim, and I'm not speaking as a woman or trying to place myself in the shoes of a woman, because men can also suffer certain things. But if I'm the victim, I feel like as tricky as it can be, there is some sort of agency that I need to exercise in the light of the situation being addressed.
I have 2 points. Two points is that it's not that, how do you call it? It's like how we know how to check for, when somebody puts stuff in your drink. See, efforts have been made to not be the victim of these things, but now we're saying, guys, we've been. Now, how should I raise my daughter? Must she know how to do martial art, which is straight out of the womb? You know what I mean? So no one can touch her, so no one can hurt her. Understand? So it's not that we are sitting here saying, okay, we have not done anything. We have been doing things, but we're seeing that
it's not working.
Still, it needs more help from the people who are the perpetrators, and unfortunately, it's men.
So that's the thing. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of.
You're the problem area that we are seeing that is helping us not to, flourish the way that we want to live our lives.
Yeah, because I think we're dealing with a lot of generalizations, but also like general factors where it's not. Even when we say men are trash, we know that it's not all women that are saying this.
True.
Right, and even when we say,
and that some women are just using it as like a sword or whatever, they're using it as a weapon.
They're weaponizing it. Yes.
Can we also state that women are also trash?
Yes.
Yeah. But who's willing to say that if you're not gonna get cancelled? Because also in the light of hashtags, you're probably
provocative.
You're bound to get cancelled if you have the balls to even say women are trash, or women are also. Maybe you can put the hashtag women are also trash. I don't know,
that one I think helps me get my point across. That the women are also. I don't think it's fair when we should do that, because let's be fair. If we're gonna say men are trash and there are women who are really doing some crazy things, it's gonna be.
So doesn't that speak to what he was saying, that perhaps we should change the hashtag to we are trash? But then the nuances that need to be addressed.
But guys, history. Let's look at history.
Exactly.
Women had to tell you guys that we also want to vote. We also want to do this. They had to tell you. This is not something that was common courtesy to us. Just just like how white people made it difficult for black people to just also want to work a 9 to 5 job where I get paid this much. I don't only want to be a gardener. You know what I mean? So like men fought for their freedom, but it felt like they dropped the ball when it comes to their counterparts.
Yeah.
You understand?
So I mean,
So it looks selfish to us to say it to you, saying, yeah, men are trash, yeah, only you people. But history, the problem is the history
what
of
accountability are women taking then? If
yeah,
that's the case?
no, I'm gonna put it like this.
Because
I as a person, I also have to understand where I'm playing my role. Understand? And then again, it's also self-respect. Like you have to also introspect within yourself as a person. It does count everybody. That's what I'm saying.
This is the main thing, man.
It does
so
count
but
everybody.
who? Okay, so if we're talking about accountability, right?
in the beginning, guys.
No, wait. I like where you went there. When you said that, if we talk about accountability, who is keeping us accountable? One. Two, who is upholding this system of accountability? Why I say this? We then need to apply context, right?
Yes.
You have, if you're speaking to a Christian man, he is held accountable by the standard that Jesus Christ presented. Hopefully,
Yes.
right? If you're speaking to a Muslim man, he's going to be held accountable to the laws, the precepts, and
Yes.
decrees
Just the way
that the
the
Muslim
Muslim
people,
men would go
right?
about life,
But
yes.
if you're speaking to a non-Christian, what standard is holding him accountability?
It's
Huh?
the freedom he has.
So, but you see what I'm saying? So, but is it really freedom? Because now, when we say,
I'm saying freedom is in like he can stand in the court of law and say, but this is my belief. This is how I believe, and you guys said I have the right to choose what religion I want to go with.
Yeah.
You understand? So
because now I think it makes things a bit
it makes
complicated.
It tricky, and that's why progress will always seem slower than it should be. You understand?
So there's an explanation
That's what it is,
to.
because we, as a person, have to also decide to. It's a choice. It's your choice. Just like how we would wish the world to be la-di-da-di-da, but is it? No. You understand? Because of the choices that we've made. And we keep making those choices. We keep being scared. We keep not standing up for certain things that we should at the specific time before things get worse. You know what I mean? It's all those choices that we're choosing to make. You're choosing to participate in the hashtag or not choosing. You understand? It's also that it's you. It's you as a person.
Yeah. So then now there's the complication between the collective and the individual.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely always.
Because if we say men are trash, or if we say Black Lives Matter, guys, that pool is very deep and very dense, filled with so many personalities,
too many interactions, too many
tribes, languages, cultures, traditions, right? So do we need then to refine the process to be more specific and targeted, for it to be more effective?
That can
So,
never happen, but I understand what
but you get what I mean, because now
can
we streamline the effort?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes, I get you, but that's where I keep pointing out this thing with people, whoever I'm having conversations with these days, is like, we're not taught to be good citizens for our countries. That emphasis on what your role is, this is the standard. Don't take us down. When you take us down, that's when we are seeing that you're not for us.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
So I think
that's why progress is slow.
Yes, but it's progress nevertheless. Yeah.
No, that's why it's slow, because you want to streamline instead of doing as a unit.
But we're not united because we're different ethnicities, we're different tribes, we're different cultures, we're different races.
I understand that, but that's diversity. That's how we all going to survive as a human race. The more diverse we are, the higher the chance of surviving.
I have to say this.
You know, if we're all the same, then how are we going to learn from each other?
Okay, what do you suggest we do?
So I'm saying, there's so much time being put in, like, these little things, these streamlined things, when more effort could be put into the unit, so progress can actually move faster.
I actually agree with that. I think
because now you wanna go here's a car. You wanna get from point A to point B, but now when you get to point B, you wanna have a vehicle, right? But instead, you're taking the vehicle parts and you're walking with them to point B instead of completing the vehicle on point A and just driving there. That's faster.
So
And you still have a car. And you got there faster.
But I'm sorry, any amount of privilege blinds, right? I'm gonna say that to say it, that like if I'm from a child-headed family, my parents passed on and I'm the child's person who has to maybe give up school soon because I have to find a job, there are 3 hungry mouths there. No cousins coming to save us, no grandmother, we don't know them even. That person, if they eventually get a phone or somebody gives them a phone, does that hashtag, does it play a role in their life immediately? Maybe not yet. Understand? That's what I'm saying. It's difficult to say how it's gonna get. We're all gonna relate to it.
And there's something that I've noticed about hashtags, you know? They are supposed to be carrying a motive to provoke, right? Action out of people and response. But have you noticed how we have never seen movement?
That's what he's
I've
basically
never
saying.
seen movement about
It's
men are
so-
trash. It's either cyber. I mean, we don't want to deal with cyber things. I mean, your
you
boy-
mean like it's not on the ground?
Yeah, like it's not on the ground. Like
So,
I want to walk
I
on the street
think
and see
it
a
is in
person
the
wearing
ground.
"Men are trash" shirt. Wear it proud every day. I want to see
I
that.
hear that.
That's movement.
If you're hashtagging
Yes.
that and you believe that, then
But
we need to see more of that.
But
I
now,
hear that, but I feel like again, it's a wardrobe, it's an extra expense, it's a shirt.
I
And
cannot.
then- so
You see what I
speaking to
mean?
privilege.
Yes,
Listen,
I'm speaking
your
now
favorite
to
artist-
privilege. I'm speaking also to. I'm just talking about how it fits. Some people have brands to freaking protect.
For example,
You know what I
hashtag
mean?
Donda.
Yes.
You know, Kanye West just released. You're gonna buy his merch. Why are you so proud to wear around his merch over a hashtag?
But it's still
But
my
why
choice.
can't you?
You see, that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's still
so-
a choice.
Even,
thing.
Yeah, so I
It's
think
simply choice. Like if you let's be honest, if we all wanted a la-di-da world, really, and we all chose to do the
no,
work
but
that's
you
gonna
get
do
what
that.
she
I get what she's
what
saying.
she's saying actually makes a lot of sense. You know?
so it's a
you
thing
went
about
to buy a
willingness.
hashtag Donda instead of a hashtag Black Lives Matter.
That's what
So
she's saying.
just I think
and
that's,
you also care about Black Lives Matter. Balance the equation, man. I mean, like,
understand.
you can't just choose
So
La La Land.
the fact that nothing is still being done about it is because nobody
And that's
cares.
where the conversation is
Why would
goes
you
to.
spend your money on something you don't care about?
And it goes to why, how can men show awareness?
Yes.
Okay.
True.
Baby, if you love me that much, show me that you're not trash.
I hear
I
that.
don't know,
Guys.
preach something you can say.
yeah, it's people gotta be willing. I think that's the thing. You need to be willing to apply yourself and be present. And
Yeah, people don't want to take initiative.
yeah.
Accountability.
No one wants to take initiative.
Yeah, no, so you guys are so right. I mean, Pat, I think as you were saying, this thing of willingness, are people willing? Are people actually actively trying to see progress materialize quickly, right? I think there's a conversation there on competing.
Not necessarily quickly, efficiently.
Oh, efficiency. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay,
Yes,
cool.
that's a better
Right,
way of going
that's
about
actually
it.
really good.
Efficiency.
There's the difference between men and women competing against each other versus men and women complementing each other, right? So the complementarian approach versus the competitive approach to this whole thing. So with a lot of these hashtags, even with Black Lives Matter, it's black versus white, or black or white versus color, if I can put it like that, right? Or if it's gender-based violence, it's the victim versus the villain, right? There's always this versus about these hashtags.
Yeah, good guy, the bad guy.
Good guy, the bad guy, right?
Problem.
So I think, is it possible? And I don't know if we need divine intervention or grace for this to happen, where there's a complementarian approach to this. Well, now we're trying to talk about the opportunities that we can find in us managing, navigating, and responding to hashtags better for us to participate in relationships better. What do you guys think?
It starts with the people. It starts with you. What world, what world you want to see. That I'm not quoting it properly, I know. But that one that
Be the change you wanna see.
in the world. Thank you. Beautiful. But that's my point. point. It has to start with you, and that's the somewhere.
Imagine if we were taught self-love
From life orientation.
Life orientation, guys.
So different.
Such a beautiful
Like, man,
concept.
if you know that you don't wanna cause trouble for people,
Because you don't think you're allowed when you're a kid to have those choices. And what I love about kids today, especially the parents that talk to their kids, I love that. When you communicate to your kids, I'm telling you, it forms better humans.
Yeah.
Because now they're used to being told that this is wrong and they must own up to it. But if you're going, no, he's just a kid. No. There's those 3 years that they surprise you. 13, 14, 15. Ta-da! Who is this person? Who did we raise?
When they become a teenager.
When
yeah.
they show you,
Yeah.
see, this is what you've been investing in me. And then now you are the person who's responsible for this person being in the world.
Yeah,
Just like how the parents who are like the parents of the person who's a rapist, a murderer, blah, blah. How must that feel on our family legacy?
Sure.
That's where you took our name. Understand? That's why I always say I'm always talking from the black family. If our parents, like our mothers, the cooking thing, they shove it in your face. They ridicule you until you understand that this is an important thing. You're going to have to figure out what you're going to eat for the rest of your life. If you have family, you have to figure out what they're going to eat for the rest of their life. Now it's up to you, okay, I have this skill, I have to do this. But like, am I going to do it healthy? Am I going to be lazy? Am I going to do that? Quality of life now. And that's where it starts with everything.
Yo.
Understand?
So Nomsa's response there is that it starts with you, right? This whole thing versus complementarian versus competitive approach. We're talking about the how, guys. How can we see people respond to hashtags better? Okay, so you want to see things materialize in daily life, not just on the internet.
no, not just on the internet.
No, but I mean the hashtag is on the internet.
Yes.
So how can we see it materialize in real
If
life?
we see it materializing, that's when we know, okay, you know what, this hashtag actually went far.
But he's basically saying like, how is that supposed to happen?
Yeah.
At all. it's a tricky one.
It's tricky.
It's really, really tricky.
I think just care, man.
Yeah.
Like people don't.
But
care.
what does that look like? If you so if you say if we were to say
I'm gonna give
men don't care,
Yeah, I'm gonna give.
what are they doing or not doing that shows us they don't? So I'm just trying to get to the practicals.
As a girl, no offense, that word has come around.
Not
They don't care.
not men.
No, I'm just that was an example.
Yes.
No, but that was an example. 'cause,
Yeah, I get you.
If women
People
are saying,
just care.
you know what, men don't care,
Yeah.
what did men do or not do that indicates that they don't? So, and if we can identify those things, what can we do? Should we change them? What can we do to change them?
I think it could just be a case of, like, I feel like majority of men and why women feel that way is because at times we're not considerable, and I think women just want to be considered and like listened to. Like,
Valued, you want to be seen.
yeah, I think the above brings all those other things,
Yeah.
value, understanding, communication, you know what I'm saying? But like listening is actually a skill, guys. Like it's actually a skill. And I mean listening by not just listening like I hear you.
Not hearing,
listening. Listening means you're understanding
And
me.
there's a process.
You analyze what I said,
Process
and now you're gonna interpret it.
Yes.
You know.
So that's gold. That's
And
really
for
really
me,
gold.
listening is you trying to hear what I'm saying, meaning you need to take out your perspective, or just put it aside and just listen, and then analyze it, and then combine your perspective, and then present it in a,
Yeah, because and just as you say, the thing of listening, right? That's something that.
That's something I still fail to do at times.
But that's something that needs to be taught, I think.
It does, exactly.
And
it
so
does.
are people willing to learn to listen better?
I think you have to show them why. You have to win them over. To make
Right.
them see that if you had listened, this could have been avoided.
So that's very
Understand? And I'm saying
Now we are teaching how to
starting at a
obey.
basic point of like your mom
And a young
saying,
point.
yes, like your mom
Yes.
saying, don't do this, and then
Yes.
from there,
Yes.
don't just hit them.
It's obeying.
Yes.
Let them
That's
know
what
that then this is why this is happening to you. This is the
But guys,
consequence of your action.
Not just that. Like even if you're teaching it, you can't necessarily like teach somebody. For like I'm gonna put me for example. Personally, the reason I feel like I have listening problems, or I wouldn't actually call it a problem, but like then and there.
Difficulties.
Yeah, difficulties. Thank you. Is because I was never taught to listen when I was young. In the sense of I was never given a platform where I can speak freely. Because if you can speak, therefore you.
Some people don't, but I hear what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
like,
that's the
I feel like
rule
if I had a communication panel, because communication is listening and speaking.
No, it's your.
So if at a young age I had the platform to speak my mind or express myself to my parents and not being scared or anything like that, therefore they would hear me and I would always come to them, and therefore I would also listen to what they say.
And I think
So-
it could have made you a better human in the process.
So do you think exercises like this, because I think we're actually taking on an exercise of sorts where we're discussing, we're talking about hopefully things that are edifying and that can inform us and inspire us to do better in relationships, where conversations like this, is it something that's a plausible solution?
Yes.
But then how can we then scale it to reach more people?
Here's the thing. It's always my biggest problem is that people don't value the quality of conversation that they have. Remember, this is your time that somebody's taken. Like I keep saying, hashtag like no more terrible conversations. Like let's take the bar a bit. Because it is where we socialize. It is where we actually see, it's impacting you like this. Because I feel like that's the channel that helps us to speak freely now. Because you're starting to identify things and you're realizing it's not just me. It's not just you, so like this, you know what I mean? It gives you the strength to actually see that, no, this is a problem. It emphasizes the problem, it shows you more, it teaches you more. Each one teach one, right?
The human race has so many issues to solve.
But I think then knowing that there's so much work that needs to be done, there's so many issues to address, right? I think I don't have an entirely negative connotation towards hashtags. I just think the same way, if you look at how money works, right? Money is primarily a tool, a resource, right? Money allows you to do other things, and sometimes it just gives you a sense of importance or significance or fulfillment, right? But money in itself is actually just that money, right? Do you know what I mean? Until you use it. So a hashtag can just be the same, where if money is in the right hands, it can be used for good. If a hashtag is in the right hands, it can be used for good. Where I do see, like with this Black Lives Matter or the GBV related hashtags or feminism related hashtags, or men are trash hashtags. When we talk about gender equality, when we talk about empowerment, when we talk about equity, those are all the underlying issues that are being addressed by these hashtags.
Because morally we are impacting ourselves that much. Those areas that help us succeed are just also just sort of not damaged, but you know what I mean? It's like it makes it more difficult. Because if you know that you can attain this much if you're in this certain environment, so that you can move in this certain way, then your life, you know that this is kind of where you can go. But if your starting point is also really terrible, you know what I mean, and those challenges come with those challenges, that making that goal, yes, it's a lot more determination than you thought it was going to be. So it's not even that people don't want, it's the challenges that come with it as well. You know what I mean? And that's the blow that could be the last thing you can take. We don't know. So
because I mean, I was just looking just through a few examples of other hashtags. I mean, we've mentioned men are trash a lot. We've mentioned Black Lives Matter a lot. Those are very prevalent hashtags, at least in our context here in South Africa. But there are more global ones, right? Such as he for she, right? Which speaks to gender equality. It speaks to empowerment. It speaks to support, presence, honor, right? On a global scale, he for she, and the context there. If you don't even need to, if you don't look too much into it, right? almost at the surface, you can see that he for she places a responsibility on men supporting, empowering, believing in, honoring women. And if you look into that as well, there's a basis to it that perhaps historically or previously men weren't being honorable, loving, supportive to women. So that hashtag has positive purposing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, she doesn't feel honored or supported or whatever. Be for her. So he for she makes sense. But then again, to some who may be offended by that, surprisingly, can be like, what? But I've been supporting my wife, right? But I've been supporting
Yeah.
women, my sister. So it doesn't make sense anymore.
But now it's like, have you been supporting her in your way or in
The
your
way that she needs.
And
that
now
she have.
you
Thank
will only
you,
know
teacher.
if it's in her way if
Take
you
it out,
listen.
cat. Take it out.
Right?
Yes.
And if you listen.
If you listen.
See, so guys, we're being implored to listen, right? So there's the lesson there. That's the L there. Today's L is listen, right? Listening presents opportunities,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It does.
Yes,
You
big time.
you have an opportunity to
Big
learn
time.
about someone, how they should be loved, how they should be how they should be treated.
You also get to learn about yourself as well.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's good. What do you learn about yourself?
I think just how everything, man. Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
What makes you tick? What makes you angry? Why does it make you angry?
If you're
All
if
those
you,
evaluations.
yeah, you know, if you self-evaluate, like wow, okay.
Because it's easier for you to do that when you listen now.
You know,
why are you telling me this?
it's
Why?
a yin yang
Why does
effect
he keep
now.
talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
love?
It's a yin yang effect.
Okay, maybe something. Then sometimes a breakup comes and you go, oh, so this is okay. So he needs
Okay.
maybe advice or da da da. Just know what to look for as well.
Yeah.
Don't just be there. That person says I'm listening, but you are listening to talk. You understand?
Yes.
Yes. Or listen to answer. Listen to just hear. Oh, this is what it's about.
And it also teaches you. It also teaches people around you how to listen to.
True. True.
So is it possible then, guys, for us to witness victory over the turmoil that men and women have been going on
I don't
for
think- I don't think
centuries
it's-
and lifetimes and
I don't-
generations?
Let's not say a victory like the final one, because as people, obviously, you're gonna make me mad one day.
Yeah.
You understand? It could take us 5 years behind
Yeah.
because you are too scared to talk about that one thing. But when you get it, enjoy it and celebrate it.
Sure.
That's what it is.
So what does it take? What does it take? What do we need to exercise on a daily basis to see us intent?
Done.
What does it take?
That's how I would say intent. Be intentional about it.
Yeah.
You're not just wanting people to be good,
Yeah,
but you want them to
be
be good for
conscious about
reasons. Yes.
Be conscious
Yes.
Can we all learn from it? Like, we all.
So you have to be teachable.
Yeah, like. I feel like life teaches you how to
Yeah,
learn.
you must
You're learning
to,
every day. So
to be teachable, you need to admit when you're wrong.
Yes.
Please say that again.
Yeah, to be teachable, you need to admit it when you're wrong.
Come on, somebody. Did you hear that?
Hallelujah.
To be teachable, you need to you're
Accept it when you're wrong.
accept when you're wrong.
Yes.
Admitting that you're wrong. I think you have to exercise humility
Yes.
in that kind of light.
Yeah.
When you're humble that actually, Godfrey, you don't know everything.
Being right is not
And like,
not
you know
supposed
what?
to
And
be
I'm
that-
gonna learn.
Yes. It's not supposed to. I feel like people place being right
Yeah.
as too much of that gratifying
Yeah.
thing.
Like
That
being
it
wrong is a
is-
bad thing.
yes.
Being wrong is not a bad thing.
Being wrong is an opportunity for you to figure
Yeah,
out why
to
you're
learn.
wrong, to learn,
Hence
to
life,
go
you have
deeper.
to-
You understand?
It's life, man. You gotta keep
The
learning.
nuggets are being dropped,
You
ladies
gotta
and
keep
gentlemen.
learning,
The
man.
nuggets
You
are
can't
being
stop learning.
dropped. No, I'm
I
here
can't
for
stop
it.
learning.
Yo, okay. No, I'm here for it. No, guys, we've said a lot. We really have. We've spoken about how, firstly, just generally, how hashtags are impacting relationships, and I really do hope that you've learned something, that you are willing to take an L, right, and listen and learn, and hopefully you'll find opportunities to love people regarding hashtags, regarding the impact on relationships. And we may actually see men and women seeing eye to eye, a victory over animosity, but it takes intent, as Noms was saying. You need to be able to admit when you're wrong, as Pat has said. And Kele, what did you say?
Accommodative. She mentioned a lot about like let's accommodate each other.
Yeah.
Yes. And like guys, we're making things a lot more difficult than they should be sometimes. We have to admit that about ourselves.
It's not that deep.
No, but I'm thinking
Sometimes we
about
need to
something,
make things difficult
and I
for
think this
ourselves.
is so deep.
Mm.
Like, have you ever thought about how you see how the whole journey about life is like you learn, right? Think about it in a perspective way. It's between you and God. Like us being here is God saying, like, listen, learn. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
you talk, I
that's the
listen,
lesson.
and then I talk and you listen. It's
Yeah.
us learning from one another.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna move forward.
Do you get it? Like,
That's the lesson. Like
Yeah.
that's the what do you call it? Blueprint.
You know, and that's how you get to understand.
Yeah,
Damn, okay,
that's
you know
the
what?
blueprint.
Purpose is this.
But now,
With this
what fucks up the blueprint is, I think diversity sometimes is kind of
Diversity.
Yeah, well,
so
I
many
think
different opinions.
so in that light, I think then we need to find opportunities for us to get on the same page,
Yeah.
agree,
And seize
understand.
Coordinate.
Seize those opportunities when they present themselves.
Coordination, I like
Go
that
for
word.
gold.
I like that word. So yeah, guys, in closing, this is gonna be quick.
Amen.
In closing, give me a hashtag that you think will impact relationships positively. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to think about it. A
Let's come back this
No,
week.
listen, guys, quickly. 5 seconds.
Hashtag I hear you.
I like that. Hashtag I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hi guys.
This is I'll take back a second pet one. I don't
Hashtag
know.
I second.
Yes.
Don't no guys, don't
I
even.
stand by you. Hashtag
Hashtag
I stand by
no,
you.
but that works.
That
Hashtag I
works.
stand by you.
I stand by you.
I like that. I like that.
Hashtag I love me to love you.
Okay.
Yo, okay. I get that. That's
Alright.
progression.
Yeah.
Hashtag I love me to love you.
Because when I love myself, I make life so much easier for you.
That's what I mean.
It
Okay.
really makes life so much easier. I don't need too many things from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, now I'm here
Just
for it.
come together.
Yeah. So guys, if you're watching this, please add in the comment section the hashtag that you think will impact relationships positively.
Yes, positively.
Right? On iono.fm, there is a comment section there as well. Give us hashtags that can impact relationships positively. Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, there's a review section. Give us hashtags that can impact relationships positively. If you're listening to this, think about it. Which hashtag are you going to live by that will impact your relationships positively? It's been Godfrey, Gillet, Pat, and Noms. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.